I've got a mission just over the hilltop in that bright land where we'll never grow. And someday yonder we'll never more wander, but walk on streets that are pure as gold.
Hi, thank you, children, seniors, for that special song. We'll have another song from Suraj.
Thank
beautiful song. Now I invite Mr. C.J. Milton for a short message.
What a beautiful program this has been. Very enjoyable, especially that last song. That's one of my favorite songs. So thank you. All right, I have a story to tell you, especially for the children. There was a village in Germany during the war. The Nazis were killing all the Jews, and they put the Jews to work. So there was this one man who was working on the trains. The Germans would kill all the Jews, and it was this man's job to load the dead bodies onto the train, and then the train would take it to a place where they would just dump the bodies. So this was the beginning of the war where the Germans were doing this. So one day, this Jewish man who was loading the dead bodies onto the train, after he loaded the last body, he looked around and no one seemed to be looking, so he jumped into the train, hid under the dead bodies, and went on to the next village. And as the train was slowing down, he just jumped off. And he went into this village, which was full of Jewish people. And he went up and down the main street or the main road and knocked on all doors and said, "Listen, you all better escape for your lives. The Germans are coming and they're going to kill you." And he went to the restaurants, to the churches, to every place he could go and warn people. But nobody listened to him. Everyone was just, "Oh, it's never going to happen. Never heard of such a thing." And no one paid much attention to him. So finally, he couldn't understand and believe that they were so, just didn't care about his message of urgency. So he finally left that evening on his own, walked off and kept walking along the railroad tracks and disappeared and went to a place of safety. A couple of days later, the Germans came and they slaughtered everyone in the village. So sometimes when you hear stories that are so strange or unbelievable, you just ignore it. Sometimes you hear the story over and over again and you don't pay attention. I'm not sure how many of you might remember this. Maybe 20 years ago in the state of Washington, there's a mountain called Mount St. Helens. And the scientists were always warning the people, there's going to be an earthquake, you better get ready. And sure enough, an earthquake would come, but it wasn't that big, and people just went on with their lives. But one year, the scientists said, this is a big